Okay, so I'm doing a voice call with my sister just to let you guys know that, just to confirm some of the things I told y'all about in my childhood. And she's going to talk and explain some of the things that we went through when we were kids. And so there you go, sister.
Yeah, so as a kid, we lived in a house that uh was heavily infested with spirituality and spirits. Or presences, I should say that. Um the experiences were unforgettable. We had things happen where we saw um people, or what looked to be people. Like once we saw a Santa Claus that was standing in front of the Christmas tree. We had snuck downstairs to get a peek to see if we could see our presents under the tree, and we saw a Santa Claus facing the Christmas tree. And when he
I don't
noticed,
remember it like that, sister, but okay.
huh?
Remember, we snuck down to the kitchen first.
Yeah,
Oh, and then we saw him walking in front of us, and then we tried to run and hide, and then he turned around and saw us. Remember?
I remember. I remember him standing with his back to me at the tree. That I
Okay.
remember.
Okay.
And while we were like peeking over the doorway, because it was a swinging door with glass middle, so we were on the floor, we were peeking up through the glass, and he turned around and saw us. And when he saw us, he took and blew dust from his hand, which landed in our eyes and burnt our eyes. And it scared us so bad that we took off running upstairs. And, um, on a different occasion, we had gotten Barbie doll cars that we wanted so bad, and they were matching cars, and they were just regular push cars like Hot Wheels. They didn't have any batteries or remotes or anything like that to them. And while we were playing with our cars, the radio inside the car came on. And you could hear like the static in the radio, and you could hear voices coming through the radio, and you could hear music coming through the radio. And um, that voice, it was a heavy male voice that was coming through the radio that was very scary. I don't remember what it said. I just remember hearing the voice. And that scared us really, really bad. And we ended up running again out of that space because it was something about that living room. That living room is where it all took place because
It did. It was something because remember we ran upstairs from the bathroom.
yes, the bathroom was right on the side of the living area, and the living area was like the furthest away from the bedrooms on the opposite end of the house. So a lot of my memories are in that living room where we heard and saw different apparitions that presented themselves to us. And so, like, even to the point where, like you said, when we were in the bathroom and took a shower, like, every time you came out that bathroom, something would chase you all the way to your bedroom.
Every night. That's what people
Every
don't
night.
understand. It was every night. And Mama and Daddy said, "Why are y'all running upstairs? It's something chasing us."
Yeah.
And I don't
Yeah.
care how strong you tried to be, how brave you tried to be that night. Like, I'm not going to run tonight. I'm
Right.
not going to run upstairs tonight because I tried to be brave. Say, I'm not going to run upstairs tonight. Girl, I don't know what it was, but no matter how hard you try, you're going to run.
Oh, yeah, you would.
You're going to run because it's like the energy that you felt that was behind you.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, wee.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Ooh, wee.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. It was like, it was so strong. Like, you could feel it. Like, I remember once I had gotten in trouble. I forgot what I had done, but I had gotten a whipping. And I laid there in my bed, and I was so mad. I was so mad. And so I was laying on my back, and then all of a sudden I opened my eyes, and floating above me was an image of my daddy floating above me, holding a belt up in the air.
And I had the same thing happen to me with Mama when I was supposed to wash dishes, and I fell asleep.
Mhm.
I woke up and saw my oh my god. It was like a 3D image of mama floating above me, and that scared the crap out of me. I got up and was like, oh, I'm gonna do it. I got up, like, but
Mhm.
I was telling them like it just happened every day. Like, seeing ghosts every day was so normal. Like the black shadow man with the hat.
Yeah, yeah, it did kind of become a part of our lives when we were there. I mean, but it's followed us outside of that place, but that's where it all began was over
To the
there. I mean,
black house. Mhm.
to the point where there is a male presence um that seems to follow me from place to place. Like when we lived in Dallas, he was there. When we lived here in Oklahoma City, he's
He was
here.
there because I saw him in your house.
Yeah, and other people have described him. Like I haven't talked to anybody about this, but I've had people
Describe
like,
him.
yeah, I've had people be like, "Whoa, what was that?"
But
And
yeah, I
I'm
remember
like,
that time I fell asleep on your couch, 'cause we were all partying, and I fell asleep on your couch, and I woke up, and I saw
"Mhm,
the dark figure. I saw the man with the hat, and I
mhm,
was like, I wasn't scared. I was just like, you know what? I'm tired. I'm not gonna just be scared and be tripping. I'm gonna go back to sleep. And I went
mhm,
back to sleep, but yeah, I'm just
mhm,
like how when I worked in the shop in Oklahoma, and me and Alex saw that apparition together. All of that.
mhm,
I thought I
mhm,
was the only one seeing it, but I brought my niece came down to stay with me, and she saw it too at the same time I saw it. So, and I was just telling them how we saw him every day, that it just became a norm. And I was telling them
yeah,
about the time where, well, you didn't see that apparition with me, but when I saw that ghost with the big red eyes, and how Daddy said he never saw it in his life, but Dia and Faye and Eddie Jewel had saw it at their own times, in their own private times they saw it.
mhm,
But
mhm,
Faye told me Daddy saw it too in our house, but he just didn't tell us. But yeah, and I was just letting them know about the Barbie doll car, the Santa Claus, the seeing ghosts, and how it just runs in our family, and a lot of people, from Louisiana.
yeah. I truly believe it's a family, it's a lineage. Um, um, in our family that all have inherited the same gift. So, it's like um some are open to it, some aren't, which is fine, but I know they still have it or they've had those experiences to let them know that they have it. And um,
And
it's
I was telling them how our aunt, like when she prays for people like that have offended her or her family, that they're not here anymore. That they pretty much died.
right, right. Yeah, I mean it's true. Um she probably has it stronger than anybody I know in our family. She has like
She does.
she possesses something where she can see the other side. She can step in and out of it. It's like and it like whatever it is, it follows her too. It's like part of who she is. Um like and just being around her, being close to her, you'll have those same experiences. Like my
Yeah,
kids,
they'll hide on for you too. That's
yeah,
why
like
I hate spending the night over her house, because she would tell me all the ghosts she saw, that
yeah.
all the spirits that knocked over things and touched her, and all the things that happened to her. And I'm like, why are you telling me this? Want to spend the night with you so I can experience? And then you would literally experience it. Something would happen
Mhm.
where you would see the spirit, or you would feel something or hear it while you're at her house.
Oh,
Always.
I remember we had a sleepover at her house, and um, she told us it was me and our cousins. There's like 4 or 5 of us, and she was like, "There's something that I call the breather." She said, "I don't want you to be scared." She said, "But the breather comes in every night, and he just gonna come to the side of the bed, and he's just gonna breathe real heavy." Well, sure fucking enough, like whatever it was, breather, whatever it was, you could hear it slide its feet across the carpet. Slid his feet across the carpet. And he comes to, now just happened to be the one on the end of the bed. It was like 4 of us in the same bed together. And I was on the edge of the bed, and it was like, it was right there. And I just heard it like, oh. That's exactly what it did. All fucking night long. And then I was just like, go to, in my mind, I didn't say nothing because I was too scared to say a word. But in my mind, I was just like, get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying?
Remember that time we spent the night out there in the country, out there in Spencer as a Leon's house?
Yeah, that's the house I'm talking about.
Yeah, and remember that
Yeah,
time in the bed and the door opened by itself?
that's the house I'm talking about. Yes.
Tell
That's
everybody
the,
tell everybody when you start sleeping in your own room at our house. But how old was you when you started sleeping in your own room? For real?
I was like 14 before I started sleeping in my own room.
No, I get why. I'm not laughing.
Hmm.
I'm really not laughing because I wouldn't have slept down there either.
Yeah, I was
I would
14 because
not
my
have
bedroom was
slept
the
down
only
there in
one.
that room, baby.
My
I wouldn't
bedroom
have
was
did
the
it.
only one downstairs, so I was down there by myself. And
I wouldn't. Yeah,
shit,
I wouldn't have slept down there either. I don't care. I would not have done it. No, no, ma'am. No, ma'am.
yeah, it took a while before I started sleeping in there. It
And
took a long while.
and so we all still see ghosts. So we still talk about it with amongst each other. It's not a big deal. If we see a ghost, I'll ask you, "Hey, you see it? Yeah, I saw it. Okay, cool." And we'll just keep going. You know what I'm saying? That's how we do.
Mhm.
We don't
Mhm.
like get together and get scared. Like, oh my God, we don't do that. It happened to us our whole life.
Yeah, it's like the norm, you know. And it's so crazy. Like people probably think we crazy talking about it, but it's true. You know, even our kids when they were small and they were too small to even know anything about it. Like they would say things to let us know they see them too. Like
Right.
Alex, well, yeah, like
But for
she
we didn't even tell them about it. They would just come up
no,
to us and say they saw it. We wouldn't tell them we see ghosts. No, they would just come to us and be like, "I seen a spirit. I'm scared," and we'd be like, "It's okay. It happened." Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I remember we were at your house and she was probably maybe 4 or 5, and she's like, "Hey, Mom, can I go play with that little boy?" I'm like, "What little boy?" And Jaden wasn't even there. I don't know where Jaden was. Jaden was a big
You talk about on 23rd,
25th. Yeah,
girl. Jaden
yeah.
said it was a little boy in his room that looked just like him. They used to scare the mess out of him.
Well,
And he
Alex
thought
saw
it
the
was
little
him.
boy.
Jaden thought
Alex,
it was him.
Alex saw the little boy. Alex saw him because I remember her asking because she go play with him. And I'm like, "Who are you talking about?" She says, "The little boy over there in the corner." And I'm like, "What?" You know? I'm like, "There is no
But
little
I
boy
feel like
here."
Alex can see a lot more than we see because that time when I worked at the cemetery, Alex was seeing stuff that nobody else could see. I couldn't see it. My son couldn't see it. My other
Mhm.
older couldn't see it. Nobody could see it. Nobody could see it, but the baby.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And
Yeah.
she was at a point where she was like, she was scared to sleep in her room because she was even going to school and telling her teachers at school about the stuff she was seeing in her room. And she told me that, I mean, she had told me several times that she saw babies. Like, she just saw babies on the wall. I'm like, what?
I remember you telling me that, and then some
Yeah.
girl was peeking at her through the window when she's with her boyfriend, and she was asking me what it meant. But
And Gia even told me
I
the
think
same
yeah,
thing. She
for
told me
sure.
the same thing when she slept in that same room, and she told me she saw. And you mind you, it's like what 14 years difference between them. And
Yeah,
she told me in that same room, she described the same thing. She saw babies hanging on the wall.
yeah.
Mhm.
I wonder what that was, though. You think it was
Mhm.
nursery, or what
I
do you think?
don't know.
Is some like the hurt because baby's on the wall,
Yeah, like babies hanging on the wall is what they both said. Yeah.
like passed away.
I don't know. I didn't really get all the detail, but that's basically what both of them told me. I even had one of her teachers, Alex's teachers, come to me and tell me uh, the same thing that she was telling them the same story in school.
Oh wow.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I was just trying to tell people that when we grew up, it was a daily occurrence. It was highly active, and we went from being really scared to getting so used to it that I told them, that it seemed like the spirits had to do something real scary for us to get scary. When those different times happened that I told her.
Mhm.
We were so used to it. It was like, oh God, you know what I mean?
Right. Right. Yeah.
I'm just glad that we had people in our family that we could talk to about it, so we didn't
Mhm.
oddballs or crazy ass people.
Right. It's just it's part of our lineage, I think. It's not something that we went to look for or stir up. It's just something that
It's
happened.
something that you're born with in our family. You don't do anything. You're just born with it.
Mhm.
It's that African blood. Remember that time we was hanging out with Steve
Mhm.
in the garage, and I told Steve that he got hit in the head with a brick or stone, and his head was bleeding in Africa.
Yeah.
That ain't funny though, but he said it happened. He said it was his uncle.
Yeah, I remember that scar on his head.
So why
Mhm.
they wanted me to tell him about that, but that's what I told him. Hey girl, well, I'm gonna call you back.
Okay, huh?
I'm gonna call you
All
back
right.
on.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.